All right, my cybersecurity peoples. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Awesome. So can the two individuals, since we lost a little bit of time, can the two individuals running the course introduce yourselves real quickly and get queued up for explaining this week's overview?
Sure.
So this week is Vincent and Sayem.
Yeah.
Vincent's from Merit and Sayem is from?
Mississippi State University.
Okay, perfect, MSU. Oh, sorry, I totally forgot. Before we start, who would like to share their quote for the week? Anybody? Nobody? Oh, you guys are breaking my heart. I think Vincent already shared, so I can't force him. Sayem, have you shared a quote? Oh, this part is so awkward. Man, if I was in a room with you guys, I would force people to share.
I'll share one.
Yes, thank you, Rain.
It's whether you think you can or you cannot, you are right.
Okay. And what is that? Why did you pick that quote? What's interesting for you in that?
I saw it in a circus studio where I train doing circus at, and a lot of doing things is mental, like you just need to get to it. If you don't think you can, you'll never get it done. Yeah.
Did you say you work at a circus? You go to a circus studio?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't work at a studio. Just my hobby.
Oh, are you in like an acrobat?
Kind of.
That is so cool. Oh my goodness. Do you have any YouTube videos?
Yeah, I can send you later.
Oh my God. Can you post them in the, I mean, if you don't mind, sorry, I don't want to put you, but if you don't mind, can you post that in the chat group? That is so awesome.
Okay. I'll find one.
Awesome. Would anyone else like to share one? Or a fun fact about yourself?
I guess I have a kind of funny fun fact. I got pulled over for driving too slow recently.
Oh my God. Said no one ever. What? Where were you?
I was coming back from my grandmother's house and it was like kind of foggy-ish and I was really driving slow, and so I got pulled over. And he was like, "What are you doing? Are you okay?" It was also like 2 a.m. in the morning. So it was interesting. I think he thought I was a drunk driver, to be honest, but I was just not driving fast.
That's amazing. I've only exclusively been pulled over for driving fast. Not that I've ever been pulled over, but if I would be pulled over, it would be because I was driving too fast.
This is my second time being pulled over for driving too slow. So, yeah. Wow. So I am the definition of driving like a grandma.
Thank you, Sasha, for revealing that about yourselves. We all really benefited from that. Thank you. Okay. Yuran has shared her YouTube link, so if anyone after the training wants to check it out, please do. All right. Thank you, Vincent and Sayem. Sorry I interrupted you guys. Take it away.
Okay, so I'm Vincent from Merit College. So we're gonna do week 7 for this week. Okay, I'm gonna start off with this one because I'm sure most of you, when you visit a website, you'll see, I wonder if I could break into this website. But that's illegal and you should always get permission, and sometimes some companies pay you if you break into a website and report it, but you gotta be careful in that area. So this week we're gonna actually create our own machines and break into our own, so that way we won't get in trouble. And yeah, so first we're gonna use like a Vagrant. it's a virtual machine where you create scripts and then you set up the IP, the host name, and all that. So it does everything quickly. It's easy to work with. And then we're going to use Kali Linux, and we're going to use that in a virtual machine to break into our other virtual machine, which we'll install WordPress in. Yeah, and you should really check out Vagrant and other virtual machines. It's a good way to create and break your own machines without getting in trouble. It's a good way to learn, and you create your own home lab, like different OSs, different tools, and all that. Is a good way to test out your tools. Okay, and so next is Sayem, gonna talk about what we install on our virtual machines.
Thanks, Vincent. So I'm Sayem. I'm from Mississippi State University. I'm doing a PhD here now. So once we have Vagrant and Kali installed in our system, we need one more thing to install, that's WordPress. So there is a process that we need to follow to do that. So before discussing that, I would like to discuss a little about the WordPress. So WordPress is a CMS, which is content management software written in PHP that uses MySQL database. So it's a platform that can be used to manage a website, custom website, without requiring much technical knowledge. So it can be basically used to create posts, pages, any media, and to manage user base. It can also support third-party plugins. So it's just a content management software. So we'll be using this WordPress in this week, and we'll try to find out some security vulnerability that has been found previously. So that's the goal of this week. So next slide, please. Yeah. So WP Distillery, that's a Scotch box that supports LAMP stack. So a Scotch box is a background box that automates the installation process and running of any web application that that is compatible with LAMP stack. So LAMP stack is basically Linux and Apache web server, and that uses MySQL database and PHP. So any web application that is compatible with LAMP stack can be automated with this Scotch box. And WP Distillery is a project that aims to develop a Scotch box for WordPress project. So we'll use this, and it just makes our job a lot easier. And with WP Distillery, we can choose any WordPress version we want to, and there is a configuration file for that, and that is instructed in detail in course material. So I'm not going to talk about that here, but that can be configured. So the next slide, please. So once we have WordPress installed through WP Distillery, and then we can use WP Scan tool, which is a shorthand for WordPress security scanner. So this comes bundled with Kali Linux, and the purpose of this tool is to detect version of WordPress running in any target server we want to explore. It can identify vulnerabilities associated with that specific version, and also it can identify which themes, plugins installed on that server, and if any vulnerabilities associated with those third-party softwares, it will list them too. So if we run a command with the WP scan, then and then it will list all of the vulnerabilities associated with this specific version, and it will also outline some links to where that vulnerabilities has been discussed, and basically we'll have to go through those links and just try to find out a way to recreate those bugs, and that's the goal. So with WordPress security scanner, WP scan, we can also use it for user enumeration. So that is basically trying to guess which user name and password fits for login. So we can try to break the login mechanism with these two. So basically that's what we are going to do this week. So next slide, please. So this is basically covered in detail in course material, which can be found in courses.codepath.com. So we'll have to install backend, VirtualBox, Kali, and then install WordPress through WP Distillery. And then we'll have to finally find bugs with WP Scan and recreate those. So that's the goal of our project today. So that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you guys. Are there any questions? Yes, George, that is okay. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Okay, I'm gonna, oh, sorry, no more, are there no questions from people for Sayem or Vincent? Okay, is everyone familiar with the task for today? We're trying to complete week 7 lab within our breakout groups. The assignments, the homework is just the week 7 assignment. For whatever you don't finish here, try to complete. Just to give you guys an update, there are quite a few people that have not yet still completed their assignments. We're being quite, I think, lenient this time. If you're a current student in the course, you don't have to be redoing the assignments, but we ask that you try to do more, try to push yourself a little bit if you can. For those of you, we're allowing up to 2 late assignments and 2 excused absences. So if you are not completing your assignments, we're gonna, we'll basically have to give you an extension, but please let us know if you need more time or anything. But if you start falling behind, the unfortunate consequences, we're not going to actually be able to run the course at your school if we don't have TPMs that are finalizing the training. So please take that seriously. You guys are all mature. I don't want to be hounding you. I don't think it's necessary. Just be completing your assignments as much as you can. Let us know if you need more time. I think having an open communication channel is really important. So I'm going to put you guys into groups. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be on the chat, and then just come back when you're ready. Otherwise, we'll bring everyone back 10 minutes to cover the admin topic. Bye-bye. Okay, sorry, I didn't record that part. Let me just restate that. This is the organizer dashboard. You get to it by going to organize.codepath.com. You find the course that you guys are currently enrolled in as TPMs. You don't have access to this yet, but you will soon. University Cybersecurity Spring 2018. Everything that's in here is connected to the back end, so it's really important that it's up to date, because all the email communications that go out that have tags in them, any kind of FAQs that students are asking, our operations staff reference this page. So it's really, really important that every single thing on this dashboard is up to date. Each of you guys will have access to your own universities. So let me start with just general details, is like what the name of the course is, the start date, the session times, the unit count. Each of these things you'll have to edit for your own university. If you look at this right side where it says external links, you'll see the attendance dashboard, which will show you all the universities. You can go into sessions and see for each day, if you click on that, which students were there, who was absent, who wasn't. Right now we obviously haven't started running the course, so we don't have any of that stuff filled out. So you'll be able to access the attendance dashboard. You'll be able to see the roster tool, which tells you who's enrolled in the course, and you'll be able to access the discussion system. For each university location, so as you can see, these are all the courses running. We haven't really told you guys about the Facebook Veterans Program that Vincent is the TPM for, but I think later we'll get to that because it's actually quite interesting. But these are the courses that are running next semester. So let's just do an example for, let's do CUNY. So if you go here and you click this pencil icon, you'll be able to see your campus. You can put the address details if you want. You'll be able to set the start date. So each university has a different start date depending on when the actual course is beginning. So you'll have to put this in once it's been decided with your professor when the start date is. Make sure your time zone is up to date, and make sure it says is enabled. You're going to update it. Oh, and sorry, the classroom description. Once you know your classroom number, you'll put that in here and students will be able to see that automatically. You'll be able to see here all the participants that have been accepted into the course. We as CodePath need to accept the students and they'll show up here. Something that you guys each need to do as soon as the sessions are decided is to put in the session days. So what you're gonna do is on each session day, you're gonna have to set when you guys are meeting and what time and the dates for each. So if you, for example, are skipping a week for a holiday, you'll have to make sure to remove that and update it. We'll send out more information on how to do that once we have you guys actually in the dashboard. Are there any questions so far? Am I going too fast or is this okay? And the way you would edit a session is you would just go to edit here. And you'd be able to say all of these are required. Type, I mean, these are lectures, the start time and date, end time and date. These have right now been automatically set for 2 hours each, and you'll be able to update them based on your university schedule. So these are super, super, super critical. I mean, we've had some really messy situations where if these are not updated, the students are getting wrong information, they're showing up on the wrong day of class. So I'm putting this in your faithful hands, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be able to see who's been admitted. And yeah, so this is the dashboard. Again, it's kind of your home base. You'll be able to see, like I mentioned, attendance. At risk is really important. So students are only allowed to miss up to 2 classes. 2 excused absences. 1 excused absence, no penalty. 2 excused absences, you dock your grade. All of this will be explained. We'll send out the updated course policies, but you'll be able to see here who is at risk, which students have missed more than 1 or 2 courses. Ideally, you would be able to have a relationship with your students and ask them, you know, what's going on? Is there anything I can help with? Are you planning on continuing with the course? If you know things are going on in their lives that's making them miss classes, let us know. We want to be as understanding as possible. That's pretty much the dashboard. Are there any questions? Maybe that was a little fast, but can I get a thumbs up if you got it and a thumbs down if you hated it?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
Where on there would we see the grades?
This is not where you see the grades. So we'll have a separate grade book. It's a Google Doc, like a master Excel sheet, and you'll be able to have access to that separately, and you'll see grades per student. Grades are quite a sensitive issue, so we need to figure out exactly the way we're gonna be sharing that, because we want each TPM just to see for their own university, not each other's, as you know. And then a lot of times we're getting asked from Facebook, like, hey, who are your top performers? And we want to be able to give students that are interviewing qualitative data. So you guys are also going to play a role in, I think, helping create a picture about these students beyond just their academic performance. Over the next year, we're going to be developing a couple really exciting partnerships with companies who are going to want to hire specifically CodePath graduates. Now, why this is exciting is because what we're trying to do is change the way interview processes are done in some of these really large companies. And so some students don't just have it's unfortunate, but a lot of them don't have the same level of network that's built up, right? That some of us are kind of just born with and have. Some students don't have the right soft skills or the right mentorship. And so these are all kind of things we're trying to provide. We're trying to give a leg up to hardworking students. Any questions? We're at 3 o'clock.
Does that extend to TPMs that are about to graduate?
Of course they do. In fact, TPMs actually have a very special place in our hearts. And so when companies are asking us for recommendations, we are in charge of sending short lists out. And so definitely, I think TPMs that perform really well, TPMs that are showing that they're taking the extra step, that's just another data point that the companies can use to evaluate you guys. So I mean, like, I don't want the TPM society to become this exclusive club, right? Where it's like, oh, like we're all just like obsessed with each other. But what I really want to see is that this becomes like a society where you guys are nominating future TPMs. You guys are helping craft the next generation of, next semester and the next kind of cohorts and cohorts of TPMs and students. So if anyone's interested in like helping me really develop what a TPM society should look like, let me know. Like if you like that kind of stuff, let me know, because that's something I'm going to be working on over the next year, is creating a really strong TPM society.
You mentioned something about students' information. So when students are signing up for this course, do they have to tick on something or a checkbox that says that I understand, or I whatever the sentence means, that their grades will be shared with you? Because if it's offered through universities, then maybe some will suppose that it is only viewable by the university.
So this is actually a good question, Ibrahim. We can talk about this on Monday. I'd like to hear a little bit more, because we're in compliance with the California, I can't remember what it's called, California state privacy requirements for students. But because we are operating the course, we don't count as like an external party, if that makes sense. But we can talk about it more on Monday. I'd love to hear what edge cases you're thinking about.
Okay.
But right now we don't have anything like that, no.
Okay.
All right, hit me up on Facebook, email if you have any questions. Have a wonderful weekend. I think a couple of you guys have questions. Sasha, do you mind staying on and answering them?
No problem.
Okay, awesome. You're amazing, as always. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Sasha, I'm going to make you the host so that when I leave, it doesn't cut everything.
Okay.
Okay, bye, guys.
Hello, everyone. Do you all have questions about user authentication number 2? Just making sure. Okay. Sorry, let me turn on my burp real quick. I'm going to pray to God this does not disconnect me from this call. Okay, burp is on. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so user authentication challenge 2 is an interesting challenge. I think it gives you a few hints in the documentation, but they're not extremely helpful. So the first step to solving this is to get an email for the administrator. So one of the flaws in the user authentication network is that it tells you that admin is a user, for one. And like a good system, you wouldn't be able to see that this whole line right here, but it doesn't matter in this case. So the first thing you do is you inspect the element. When you inspect the element, you will see all this fun stuff. So you care about what's in the content div. So once you look in the content div, you will see a results. You'll see a user control, and then you dive deeper into the user control, and then you'll dive into Layform 2, and then you do another dive past that, and you'll get a scripts category. I'm using Firefox, so this is kind of weird. If you use Chrome, you can just inspect the entire, you can view the page source and you'll see what I'm about to show you. So if I double click on this, it will look more Cody-like. And you'll see 3 Layforms. You'll see Layform 1, which is just your URL, setting your URL. And then you'll see a reset password form. And then you'll see a change password form, which is Layform 3. Let me get rid of this. So Layform 3 is your function that will change the password for the email or the user that you're using. So change password form, valid token, it tells you that the token life is 10 minutes. And then if you look down here in the data, there are 3 categories: username, new password, and reset password token. So these are the 3 parameters that you need in order to change the password. And then you also need the new updated URL. So I'm gonna click this in Burp and hope it doesn't delete that, and it did. And then inside Burp, I'm gonna go send this post request to the repeater. In the repeat, sorry, I clicked on this again. So in here, if you look at the Burp repeater, you see that there's no change pass for the URL. It says send token. So we need to, the first step is to change the URL to change pass. So you can click on it and then paste that in. Once you do that, you go back and you see your 3 parameters: username, new password, and reset token. So I'm gonna just copy this into a notepad so that I don't have to keep going back and forth. And so when you look at your parameters in Burp, you don't see any of those 3. All you see is sub username. So we're gonna add those 3 categories. So user, and then add new password, and then add reset password token. So now when it gets into the reset password part, it knows that it's the correct URL to change the password. It sees the 3 parameters: username, new password, reset token. So I'm kind of lazy, and I'm just going to make the new password admin, oh, if I can spell admin, and then 11. So I'll tell you why I'm doing this in a second. So the next issue that you have to address is that you have a token life of 10 minutes. If you scroll down further in the code, it's in one of these scripts categories. There is a function called reset password token that has the date parameters. When I originally did this, I did not look for that. And instead I used ID1, which is a compiler for JavaScript, and wrote a simple print line for JavaScript to get the new date. Typically, if you're doing a user authentication, this would be the standard date format. So when I go down, it tells me that it's Saturday, December 2nd. The incorrect time, it's General Mountain Time, and it's 2017. You know that the reset password is time dependent. So if you think about it, that's a possible time formatting. I know I'm going kind of fast, so is everyone clear so far about what I'm talking about? I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yeah.
And so from here, I'm going to copy this, and we know how CodePath likes to encrypt things. So we're going to encrypt this in base 64. And then this statement, or the time, will be the reset token. So I'm going to go back to the repeater, put this in here. I'm going to not make that 11 characters the first time through, and I'm going to try to reset the password. And then it says it has to be at least 12 characters. So I'm going to make this 12 characters. The password change request is successful. And then when you go back in, going to enter in the username and the new password. And then it should show me the token. Is that understood?
That was very, very helpful.
It was kind of confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Just I had to redo this last night a few times to figure out how to do it. There's some missing information in the step sheet. So if you ever see that on the step sheet, feel free to update it. People delete stuff by accident, it happens.
Sasha, I had another question about week 4.
Mm-hmm.
For the CSRF1, that as well.
Wait, are you talking about the CTFs?
The lab, Big 4 lab, CSRF1.
Okay.
I gotta go, but thank you, Sasha. I appreciate it.
No problem. If you have questions, feel free to message me on Facebook. I'm always on, especially now. So have a good weekend, y'all, if you're leaving. So for CSRF1, let me just quickly reread this question. Oh boy. What is your question about this question?
So I tried doing that with the image URL, getting my the ID, but
so the first step. Ooh, that was louder than I thought it would be. Okay, so for this challenge, you have to use 2 accounts. So an easy way of doing this is to create a second account, or you can use the test account that they have, but the test account doesn't really work anymore for some reason, or somebody changed the password, I'm not sure. And so what you do is, hold on, let me share my screen.
Sasha, I'm gonna head out as well. I'll see you guys next week.
Message me about the stuff.
Yeah.
So for this one, that's just here. It tells you that to complete this challenge, you must change the counter for the CSRF. So it gives you a URL to change the counter. So you know that, I'm sorry. Let me scroll down a little bit. You see this information here, and then you know that this is the GET request to change the password. So if we go up here and we copy this URL into here, and then if we copy the GET, everything except for the GET and the example ID, and add the slash, and then set this equal to your example ID. And this is not done in your native account. This is done in your new account, the one that you're going to create. So if you do that, and then you update the image URL, it should update your counter. And when you relog back in onto your new account, your old account, it will give you the updated counter. Does that make sense?
So I create a new account, get a new ID for this page.
Mm-hmm. No, so when you create your new account, the only thing you're using the account for is to update your counter. So you don't even care about their their ID specific. You only care about the ID for your account that you're using for CodePath to track you with.
Okay, so when I put in that ID, that is my original ID for my original account.
Mm-hmm. I can't hear you if you're saying something.
Yeah. Hold on, let me share my screen, maybe. Screen?
Yes.
Yes?
I can see your screen.
Okay. So this is my original account, let's say. Hello?
What did you say?
This is my original account. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. My ID, like for this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So I go create a new Security Shepherd account.
You don't even need to. I can update the counter for you from mine right now since we're doing that on here. I didn't even think of that. Okay, so game plan. Can you stop sharing your screen real quick?
Okay.
Let me just quickly log back into Security Shepherd. And then I'll share my screen and show you how to do it. Sorry, 1 second. I have 2 Security Shepherd. I have like 4 Security Shepherd accounts. So not sure which one I actually logged into then. Sorry. Let me just scroll on some more and get to it. Okay, now let's share my screen. So I'm sharing my screen with you. Would you mind sending me your, what is it, your ID? So that I can update it. Hey, can you send me it in the chat real quick?
The ID that I see on this page?
Yes. For your main account. Oh no, like the ID number. Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay, so you sent me, well, I'm sorry. Let me stop sharing my screen because I forgot to save this. So one of the weird, like, flawy things about Zoom is you can't, like, save stuff all the time or, like, see, like, the chat window. At least I don't know how to do it yet. And so let's try this again. Okay, so we're on Security Shepherd. You know that this is a URL for Security Shepherd, and that to get your user ID information to increment the counter, you need to use this URL example right here and append it to the end of this URL, and then set the example ID in someone else's account, from someone else's account. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. You set the example ID for your main account in your secondary account, and then update the counter that way. So I'm going to use your counter information. So this is the URL. So securityshepherdcodepath.com, user, the challenge plus user ID, and then your user ID. So I'm going to copy this in here and then paste it and update your URL. So now if you refresh your screen, you should see the flag. Does that make sense? That was kind of fast. But did it work? You might have to log back out and log back in as well.
Yeah, now it's showing up.
So it updated, you have the flag now?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I did there?
Yeah. So I just do that what you did from guest account, and I do that for my user ID. Got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you
for
okay? More questions?
No, this was all. Thank you so much, Sasha.
No problem. Have a good one, y'all.
Thank you.
Wait, George, did you have any questions?
No, I had the same question, but that made perfect sense. Thank you.
George, you're going on the Enigma trip, right?
Yes.
You should have gotten a message from like Nora or Wilmer. I combined them into one person. About checking to make sure your flight information was correct. If you haven't done that already, please do that soon. They have like a document that has all of your flight information. I had to organize the form that you sent, and I just want to double check and make sure everything's okay, and that I didn't do something to the wrong spot.
Got you. And you said the docs, I'd find that in Facebook?
Nora and Wilmer have information about it. They know the steps, so just message them and they can tell you about it.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
You too.